Good afternoon, everyone. It's weird saying afternoon because I usually see most of you in the morning. Welcome to the quarterly luncheon, Business at Lunch. Oh my gosh, I just blanked out. Anyways, I'm Yvonne Sepulveda. I won't forget to introduce myself this time. I'm the President CEO for the Marysville Tulalip Chamber of Commerce. Again, thank you all for coming. Lunch is available, so help yourself through the program if you feel like seconds. Thank you, Parks and Recs, for putting our lunch together, so we appreciate you for that. If we can have all my board members wave as I introduce you, please hold your applause till the very end. We've got Tony Matthews, Vice Chair for the board, Renee James, Babette Babbage, all in attendance today. Can we give them all a round of applause? Excuse me here, because I usually have a podium, so trying to work this together. Okay, so today's quarterly luncheon, Business at Lunch, Hungry for Knowledge, is presented by the City of Marysville, the Emergency Management Department. If you can please help me welcome Cassidy to the stage.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cassidy Aldrich. I am the AmeriCorps member at the City of Marysville. I work as the Emergency Management Outreach Specialist. Kind of a mouthful there. But anyway, so today I am we're introducing actually a new program that we just launched. It's called Marysville Ready Business. The focus of the program is really that it's a preparedness program. So we know that businesses are important to the community. We also know that businesses are more likely to stay open after an emergency or a disaster if they have taken preparedness steps. So in our office, we try to support, the whole community. So within the whole community, that includes business owners. Trying to think how to really say, sorry. I got this, it's fine, it's fine. Yes, so to sign up for the business, let's start there. So to qualify to become a Marysville Ready Business, we try to make it really flexible. So we have a list of suggested action items, and they're preparedness related. That includes planning, exercises, drills, earthquake drills, things like that. So it's kind of difficult, I think, to do that all on your own. So kind of having a place where you can do all those things that will increase the likelihood that you're able to stay open after a disaster or an emergency is pretty important, and it's important to receive support while you're doing that. So this program kind of gives you an outlet for that. It kind of gives you an opportunity to work with us and be recognized for it. So we have little window clings you could put in the front of your business, and that kind of shares hey, we've taken preparedness actions here, and potentially if some of those preparedness actions that you've taken are geared towards supporting the community and supporting the recovery of the community, then that's also a way to share that. An example I'll share just really quickly for that is, we're heading into summer, so we know that last June we had an extreme heat event, right? So it was really, really hot. Heat-related illness is a real thing, and preventing that is something that we try to focus on heavily. So businesses, that's an opportunity for businesses to get involved. So, for example, in our area, a lot of the homes and other workplaces don't necessarily have the air conditioning that's necessary to maintain a good temperature for preventing those heat-related illnesses. So one example of supporting the community is providing a space. So you can open up a facility if you have it in your location, and you can say, hey, we have AC here, we have water bottles, and now you've opened up as a cooling station. We are the Emergency Management Office, will help put that out into the community and say, hey, this is a list of businesses that are taking actions and they want to support you, and if you don't have access to air conditioning at home or at work or wherever, from these hours on these days, you can go to this place and you can be cool. So that's kind of one example of supporting the community, but really it's the whole circle, right? So we want to support the preparedness of you as an individual. We have information to share with your family, your staff, your customers, and it doesn't necessarily have to be all of those things, right? It can be whatever works best for you at whatever capacity that looks like for you. And we also recognize that businesses they vary, right, in types and in sizes. Some businesses have 1 or 2 staff members, and some of them have 81 or 82 staff members, right? So the program is really built to be adaptable. It's built to be flexible and kind of sway with whatever the needs are of the business and the interest level of you know. So it's kind of an opportunity to do all of those things, get involved in the community, take preparedness actions, ensure that your business is prepared, because if something does happen, we want the businesses to survive, we want them to thrive, we want to support the community, and we don't want businesses closing down or anything like that. So if there's things we can do ahead of time, it's really important that we do them. The Office of Emergency Management at the City of Marysville really want to support you in that, and we want to recognize you for it. So a couple of other things, we have this little certificate. You can see Yvonne holding hers up there, because the chamber is already Marysville Ready Business, so thank you. Todd Fallman and Realty One Group Orca also is a Marysville Ready Business that's joined the program. So they have their window clings, their certificates, and they're listed on our website. And now we're able to have that direct connection and share resources with them, recovery, grant opportunities. I mean, we could kind of go on and on. So because of that, I would love to chat with you. I welcome you to come talk about it. We have a little table in the back with the black tablecloth that has some more information. There's a little sign-up sheet if you want to just get your contact information down. That way I reach out to you. I'm really happy to chat and welcome you to the program. So thank you guys very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Cassidy, for sharing that information. And they actually make it very, very easy. So please reach out to her or to Sarah, and they can help you become a ready business as well. So now I'd like to introduce our speakers for the afternoon. Mike Talkington is the founder of Talk Media, a consulting firm focused on training small businesses to learn and embrace social media. He recently became an approved member of Meta Business Partners, an advertising program for agency. Over the past several years, Mike's worked with a variety of industries to achieve social media success with his commitment to being an utterly reliable social media marketing specialist. When Mike is not working, he enjoys skateboarding and making skateboarding TikToks. And our second presenter is John Rollins. He is the CEO of Social EKG, a company designed to make it easier for your customers to know, like, and trust you and your business. They specialize in blending high-tech and high-touch solutions. John loves solving puzzles and being a father to his 4 daughters. Please help me welcome both Mike and John to the stage.
Test, test. Welcome, everyone. It's just working.
That way. Hello, hello. Perfect.
It works. John, by the way, did I tell you that my cousin got married right here on this stage?
I didn't hear that. That's good.
No. We were doing the electric slide on the dance floor. So, good times. Good to be here with you all. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create customer connections through your marketing strategies. So, marketing, somewhat important, right? Very important. Seeing lots of nods. So thank you for your interaction already. We're going to be, so let's do the second slide. So today we're going to be talking about initial customer connections, opt-ins through your marketing, optimizing the customer paths in your marketing as well, stages of online marketing specifically. So we're going to be covering that, including social media, and of course, managing your marketing systems. So at the end, we'll definitely have time for a Q&A. So if you have any questions, start thinking of those now, jot them down, and then we'll cover that at the end. So next slide, Yvonne. So to start, so coming around is a worksheet there that you can follow along if you'd like. There's a couple fill in the blanks to keep it as interactive as possible. And there's some white space on there as well. So if anyone needs a pen, raise your hand. We can get you a pen. So we got worksheets, pen. Here you go. Does anyone else need a pen? Couple pens, couple worksheets. All right. Yeah, $2 each. Yeah, over here. All right. So now that we all have our worksheets, first we're going to cover, and Yvonne, next slide when you're ready, we're going to cover, are you maximizing your current connections?
So we thought it'd be fun to start with a challenge for you guys. Anyone want to make $5? All right, I have a volunteer ready. Perfect. So I'm going to start with our little, we both run marketing companies, and one of the most stressful things we see is when people pay us to spend money on marketing to get customers to their door, and then we spend all the time and energy to get that done for you, and then someone calls your business, and they ask a question about what time you open till, or do you have this part in stock, and then here's the answer, and then they hang up. And they're like, why is our marketing working? Like, we're getting people to call you, So the challenge would be, if anyone is interested, for the $5, if I were to call your business right now on speakerphone and ask them a question, do you feel confident that your staff or the people working right now would ask a follow-up question, collect an email address, find some way to keep that customer connection going past that first phone call? Anyone still feel confident in the $5? I have to call you directly, right?
She's the business.
What's your name back there, miss? Tori? Okay, perfect. We don't have time to actually call today, but I do have the $5 for you, so I will. We'll do it afterwards. Absolutely. Thank you very much. We don't have time to call today, but one of the things we love to see as marketers is, well, I guess we're going to talk about the connection, right? So,
Got it.
pardon me. There we go. All right, so something to think about as you guys get into the next stage of your business, as we're talking about creating customer connections and everything, is do you feel comfortable that you have some kind of system to collect that information, and what are you doing with that information? Which brings us to our next part, which we're going to talk about. Well, we can talk about the numbers exercise first. So on your guys' paper there, you see some fill-in-the-blank sections. We like to have an idea of what our goals are, right? So this is optional. We try to make it not too complicated. It's not confusing math, but it being almost the end of May, basically. So let's do June through the end of the year. What's your revenue goal for the next 6 months in your business? Could be 5 million, could be 500, whatever it is, right? So we're not going to share these numbers out loud. Don't feel like it's going to be a test on it or anything, but just a rough idea of what you'd like your business to hit for the next 6 months. And then the next part under that is your average revenue per customer. So if you guys know that, either what your average ticket is, or if you have a month over month, if they stay 6 months, just a rough number of what an average customer brings into you. And then real quick, just divide A by B, and that should give you your customer count. And that's the number of people that we need to get to get you in front of, or need to say yes to you in order to get your revenue goal, right? So super simple, but it changes the way you think about it, rather than just some big insurmountable task, or we're way ahead of budget, where that looks like, to being way more specific that, hey, we need to get 20 more people in the door, or we need to have 20 more customer connections, right? There also is a thing on there about take rate that we want to talk about. If you have a system, like I'm super nerdy about analytics when it comes to any kind of marketing. So I love knowing, okay, it's going to take 100 conversations to get someone to go from a maybe to a yes, right? So I know I need to have 500 conversations in order to get to my 50 people. So that's like kind of the next level, bonus question, extra math there you don't need to do, but just something to be aware of. So as we're going through the rest of this, we're going to reference back to that number of what's your customer count for the rest of the year. How many more customers do you need to get in order to hit your revenue goal? All right, so now that you know how many customers you have to get to, the next thing is how do you talk to them, right? So the first thing we want to talk about is opt-in systems and what that looks like. So
Yeah, so how many here have an opt-in system for their business currently? A couple of us? So an opt-in is when people either they buy from you or they're interested in buying from you, they can get on your email list. They can opt in by giving you your business card and saying, let's have coffee, and now they're part of your network, more of an informal opt-in that way. So, what's that?
Yeah, pull your mic close.
They want to see your newsletter. So, those are a couple examples of opt-ins.
So you'll see there's a blank spot on the form there, right, guys? And the purpose of an opt-in, the purpose of that first conversation, and the purpose of whether it's an email list or whatever the different things we talked about, getting coffee, it's to nurture, not to sell, right? So there's a blank spot there if you want to write that in, nurture. So the whole point of this, I'm going to give an example. I had a client that did technology sales, right? And they always were great about sales. They always hit their numbers, but there was no engagement past whenever they had a sale. And they wanted to keep their customers top of mind because they were competing with retail. They were direct B2B, right? So if they didn't keep in touch with their customer when they needed something, they would go to a retail location and just pick it up. Money out of his pocket. He was doing okay. He wanted to do better, right? So we started analyzing. We could get to know him as a person. Hey, what do you like? Turns out he's a super huge tech nerd, right? Just loves new technology. And I said, hey, this is perfect. Why don't we make a new toys list? And you just tell your customers, and when you talk to you, if you want to join, I'm just going to send out, bi-weekly emails of all the nerdy new things that are coming out in the tech space. I love this stuff. If you guys love it too, let me know. And he had, over the course, we started it, and then 3 or 4 years later, he has a couple thousand people on there. It's a pretty big list, right? Just collectively, because he's nurturing. He's just giving them nerd information. And what we found out over time is that when he'd send those emails out, even if they didn't want that new technology, he would get 10 emails back. Hey, I need new things for my family, or our business needs 10 of these things. Can you send them over? So he'd get business every time he sent an email out, but the purpose was just to nurture his people so they remembered him when it came time to buy, right? It wasn't to sell anything. So with any opt-in system, right, the goal here is to just nurture the people that are in your environment.
And it starts with getting people in that environment by allowing them to take that first step. A common one that you see is QR codes on the back of flyers or business cards. I have a QR code. Where's my flyer? Anyway, I left it at the table. But on my flyer, there it is. Thanks, Thomas. I got a QR code on there. And does it just go to the home page of my website? No, it goes to a lead capture form so they can sign up to my email list. And like John was talking about, get nurtured moving forward, as opposed to them just visiting my website once and then remembering to come back when they're needed. It's like, okay, well, I know that if they're already interested in visiting my website, they may be interested in the other things I have to offer, so I can nurture them with an email list. So,
absolutely. And guys, I think a lot of marketing companies try to overcomplicate a lot of this stuff, which is why we're coming to you. Like, the whole idea of an opt-in system is like, keep it as simple as possible for what works for you, right? So when I go to a networking event, like personally, I have trillion email accounts for a different client, and it's a nightmare. Like, you're never going to get me over email. But my text is where my kids are at, where important stuff, anything I'm working on currently, right? So when I go, like the first time I met Mike at an event, I wanted to make sure we connected because he knew what he was talking about. He was fantastic. This is a person that I want to know, right? So I found a reason to text him, which is my little shortcut. And I was like, hey, let me text you my website. I'd love your opinion on it. And then I have some reason to get his phone number. And then I know it's in the top of my list. And that's how I manage my opt-ins, is that anyone that's in that text thread is now kind of in my inner circle. And I want to continue that conversation, right? So however you want to continue the conversation with your clients, some system that works for you. Just, again, a lot of what we're talking about today is about intentionality and like understanding that it's a way to move the conversation forward.
Exactly. All right, Rhonda, next slide, please. So when people opt in, they're now on your customer path or customer journey. So it looks like there's a slight delay in the PowerPoint there, so bear with us. So how many here have considered the customer journey for their business or organization? Quite a few.
Isn't that a cool buzzword, the customer journey, right? It's we hear it like 600 times in emails and stuff that we follow, right?
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah. All right, no worries.
What's that, Sharon? Yeah. So from the buyer's journey, whether it's meeting people who end up being referral sources for your business rather than customers, and having a way to organize that information. Like a lot of us, I did a poll recently where I polled my network saying, how do you keep track of your business relationships, right? Not just your customer relationships, but your business relationships, the people who send you referrals who are going to be on your customer journey. And a lot of people actually replied that they do use a spreadsheet. So I was pretty surprised by that result, because it's like, okay, well, it seems just so over the top, but how else are you going to organize your business relationships other than an email list, a CRM, a spreadsheet, right? So you can still keep it simple, but still use some sort of system for that.
Absolutely. And you guys, one thing that when we were putting this together for all of you, and we started talking back and forth because we eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff all the time, and we get so sick of these buzzwords that we decided to, instead of calling it customer journey, we're going to call it the customer path. It's the path that your customer walks on, and that opt-in is really the starting point right to that path. And to Mike's point, there's a bunch of different paths for a bunch of different things, right? Your people that are referral partners, people in this room might not be customers. So the customer journey isn't always right necessarily. I mean, we got in like a very long, nerdy debate about the verbiage behind this, but calling it the customer path and understand that customers can look like a lot of different things, right? There's a lot, I'm sure for a lot of your businesses have a lot of lead time for people that are interested possibly, but aren't customers yet, right? That are, they need that 6 months of you checking in on them or repeatedly calling them or dropping your pens off or whatever whatever that marketing material looks like, right? So some of the paths are differently shaped depending on where you're trying to go and everything else. And there's some blank spots on there, guys. Oh no, I'm on this one. Also, can we change the slide again? Sorry. Perfect. There we go. So we want to talk about this whole idea of creating customer connections as putting markers on the path to keep your customer going either to the next stage or, more importantly, just not off of your path onto somewhere else, right? We don't want you to lose a client because you didn't talk to them about whatever, or you didn't follow up with them over something simple, right? And these paths look different for different customers, but they also look different for where the customer is on the journey. So I'll give you guys a real-life example. I had a terrible churn rate with Social EKG when I first launched it. Like 50% of the people weren't staying past 3 months. And I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out because I think this is the best thing ever. But let me take my ego aside and just get some feedback, right? So let me get some honest feedback from people, from customers, either that left or I feel like are about to leave or at that mark. And I found there was a bunch of confusion in the onboarding process. Simple, quick, easy things I could fix. So by having that part of the customer journey as that feedback, I was able to tighten up the beginning process when a new customer comes on, and now churn is next to nothing. I think it's like 1 out of every 40 people end up leaving after 3 months. Most people stay around and love the system. And I even found a way on that customer journey to input a spot for referrals for other businesses with a give back program and or like a good review, right? So in thinking about this very intentionally and laying that customer path out, at what point do they leave the regular customer path and become a VIP customer, right? And that's a whole different path completely with its own guidelines and its own set of roadmaps, right? So we're thinking about customer connections and when you guys intentionally reach out to your customers and when you talk to them is a way to keep them on that path and or go into the next path is a very good visual, at least for us. So hopefully it works for you guys too.
All right, Rhonda, next slide. Ooh, it was quick that time. Nice.
And then we're on the back of the form. If you guys are keeping up, we can flip it over there.
So moving on to the online marketing portion, including social media, what I've experienced working with small businesses and professionals is that people are on 3 different stages or 3 different levels of their social media journey. And I have here level 1, level 2, level 3, just for simplicity. Everyone starts out level 1 as a scroller, no matter what. Even if you're like me and you're just embracing a new social media platform such as TikTok, it starts being a scroller, right? Following your peers, seeing what they're posting, getting inspiration, getting a better understanding of the difference between TikTok and other platforms that you've been on. For example, not using too many hashtags, using a handful of hashtags, but some broad hashtags, some specific hashtags, and really getting that inspiration going of, okay, when I do go to post, I'm ready. So it all starts with scrolling on social media. So everyone starts there, like I said. Level 2 and level 3. So the difference between level 2 and level 3 is, of course, we've all seen them in our feeds. The algorithm really prefers these people. They're posting the short videos. They're posting a regular regular articles, podcasts, a video series. And even if it's just 15 seconds, they're doing a daily post and they're fully in that algorithm and we see their posts. Level 2 isn't quite to that level. They might be posting frequently, but they don't get a lot of engagement. And all of this to say, when we're posting, we're hoping to connect with our referral partners. We're hoping to connect with our potential customers. So every post that we make is a chance to connect. And as we're making and looking to create better customer connections, it comes down to, okay, well, what are we posting and where are we at in our journey? Are we happy at level 2 and we just got out of level 1? Or are we looking for level 3? So planning at where you're at now, where you want to be. And not everyone needs to be producing a daily or a weekly podcast. Like, that's okay. And it all goes back to the first part that we're talking about with your goals, right? So another point to know if you're on level 2 or not is you post, and it's there on the worksheet, you're more of a casual sharer. You know, you show up when you have something casual, when you have something important to say, but it might be just on a weekly basis or even less often than that. And that isn't posting often enough to get you in the algorithm. Another thing that I see is people, they commit to posting every day, but they just don't put as much to make it really content. It's just more so, okay, I just want to get a post out today, and they're not really creating content, spending the time, even if it's a whole hour on the post. Has anyone figured out a way to spend less than 30 minutes to an hour on a post? I haven't. You know, sometimes it just takes that long. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so level 2 is where, if any of you guys do any kind of online advertising, right, through social media channels, that's where they're going to be the ones that either you're boosting a post or you're some content of a sale or whatever, and you're having that hit multiple people. That's kind of where that fits in. It's at stage 2. And we really want to specify here, like I know Mike talked about it, but the goal isn't to be in level 3 and everything. Like, you guys are all here to networking lunch, right? Like, there are a lot of different avenues to connect with potential customers. Social media is one of them, and not everyone should be a content creator, right? Like, not, if you ask my kids, like, they all think they should be, right? But like, not everyone needs to spend, it's like the payoff isn't worth it to go and have a YouTube series or have be live on Facebook every day, right? If level 2 is working for your company, awesome, that's great. If level 1 and you don't have to spend any time on marketing, like, great. Like, those are fantastic problems to have. So don't feel like we're downplaying that if you're on a level 2 or even a level 1 that you're not doing it right. And I think that like Mike, I'm going to go ahead and say it for you. Like, Mike on a TikTok is definitely level 1. Like he said, he's observing, he's kind of taking it in, scrolling, and like learning it. And then, but I would say, like, I've seen your LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you're a solid 2/3 right in between there, right? And so it really can depend on the platform and depend on the company, right? So you don't have to do everything maximum all the time because that burns you out really, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're doing well in social media, but a new platform comes along and you need to embrace a new platform, you know, we all need to kind of start over with that new platform. So there's a fill in the blank on the worksheet. Feel free to write where you're at today with your business on one of the 3 levels. And you can even write who you follow that is a level 3, you know, somewhat aspirational. I know that there's someone here who makes weekly videos, Yvonne with the Marysville Chamber, shout out to her. Every week there's a new chamber highlight video out, and it's so cool to see those, and the algorithm really appreciates those videos as well, as so do chamber members.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
then again, with the whole idea between level 1, level 2, level 3, right, is the goal is to hit that customer number, right, that we filled out on that first part. So your customer number is 500 people, right? Okay, maybe getting in front of 8 billion people is a good way to start, right? Maybe it's not. It depends on, again, your time, energy, effort, budget, all those things play into it, right? But if you're trying to get to your number, it's a really good way to do it. Perfect.
So next we're going to talk about Facebook groups and how they're such an amazing way to host a group conversation for your business. So if you're going to connect with potential customers around your business, with a Facebook page, you're just constantly fighting the algorithm. Unless you are doing the content creation, then the algorithm prefers your content. If you have a Facebook group, on the other hand, how many here, by the way, have a Facebook group for their business? Several? Nice. And it's not for everybody, but this is just one of those things right off the bat. The algorithm says, oh, you have a group and you're posting in a group. We're just going to definitely prefer that type of post in our algorithm. So Facebook groups, one example is a client reached out to me. They have a restaurant chain, and they said, hey, look, we have our poker tournament director is looking to get the word out about poker and increase turnout at these poker events. So they said, can you set us up with a Facebook page? I said, we had that conversation of a Facebook page. Why not a Facebook group? So I shared with them how a group works, and we set up the group itself. And you can see here, something happened, right? It was going along. They had, just under 100 members, and then the group took off. So what we did was, it went from under 100 members to, on the graph there, it's over 200. The Facebook group now has 562 members, as last time I checked yesterday. So, and by the way, the poker tournament has record turnout. They have 10 games per week. If you can imagine, that's a lot of poker games. 10 games per week, record turnout at every one of their games that they host, all because of this Facebook group. And what we did there, you can see the change from sharing a weekly post, right? Not creating content, but just sharing a weekly post to this group, getting preferred by the algorithm. And then we took out one advertisement. How many? Just one advertisement. And we did do a split test for 4 different images, but that one advertisement resulted in the change of the group growth, getting the word out about it. So that's another thing too. If you do have a group and you're connecting with potential customers that way, advertising that group as well to connect with even more people for that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the algorithm, guys, like the secret to the algorithm behind almost social media at this point is about engagement, right? Natural conversations between people leaving comments, things like that. That's how they determine the value of it. So we've all been there where we're spending an hour on a social media post because we're supposed to, right? It's like Thursday night, and you're like, oh, I need to do this. I haven't done this in a week or two. Guilty, right? The groups are a good way to keep that conversation going versus making another brand new business page that you don't really get to, no one sees unless you advertise for it, right? So as any way to spark engagement, right? Which is why those level 3 people make like very intentional content to get people to comment, to get people to go. And you guys have probably noticed when you post personal stuff on your business page, any kind of personal thing or a picture of you or behind the scenes stuff like that gets way better engagement than the sale you're offering or the perfectly displayed table, right? Because people want to engage with people. And so that's the secret sauce behind social media is engagement, engagement, engagement.
Next slide, Rhonda. So another social media example. So right now we're going to talk about social media scheduling tools. A lot of people have used Hootsuite, the Facebook page scheduler. How many here are scheduling their posts with any of the above mentioned Hootsuite, Facebook scheduler? A few of us. Right, what tools are we using? Are we using Hootsuite, or are we just using the Facebook itself? Hootsuite over there, shout out Hootsuite. There's quite a few of these things. There's Buffer, Hootsuite, Sprout Social. Canva has social media post scheduling in it. Constant Contact does. MailChimp as well. You can schedule your social media posts through MailChimp. And MailChimp was actually recently acquired by Intuit. I don't know if anyone here has heard that. I think it was a $12 billion acquisition of Intuit to MailChimp. So
Billion. So
these social media marketing systems, these social media schedulers, this is big business now. So $12 billion for MailChimp. Does anyone know how much Facebook bought Instagram for? Close? It's actually pretty low. It's only $1 billion, right?
But that was 12 years ago, too. So.
It was 12 years ago, so, just for inflation on that.
Right.
So Sprout Social. Has anyone here heard of Sprout Social before? It's very similar to Hootsuite. So that has a $4 billion valuation. These, and let's see, is there one more? So that's it. So these social media scheduling tools, there's a big market behind it. People taking it seriously. You know who else is taking it seriously? Is Facebook. They have been, over time, building up their page manager, their Facebook scheduler, adding new features to it, making it a lot better. I've heard over the years, working with small businesses, that the Facebook scheduler is just okay or worse. So I've heard a lot of people who didn't like it. I myself didn't use it. It's been a couple years since then. That tool, they now call it Business Suite, that tool is now pretty great. And it's free too. So if anyone's getting started with using social media systems, social media schedulers, and they're looking for a tool that's low cost with the latest features, the Facebook Business Suite, or Meta Business Suite as it's called, of course. That's a great option to start with. So that's what this slide is about here. And what they do is they have in the Insight section, they have your goal tracker. So this is one of the cool new features that they have available. And in fact, a client reached out to me. It's a restaurant in Linwood. They said, hey, Mike, we want to optimize what we're doing with our social media. And I said, great. How are you currently measuring that? And they said, oh, right? Okay. Well, so they're looking to connect with more people, and that's exactly what this goals section does, is you declare your goal, and then it gives you a couple-step plan to fill out. So it says, would you like to connect with more people by reaching more people? Or would you like to connect with more people, and this is on Facebook and Instagram, or would you like to get more followers? So you decide one of those two options on either of those platforms. From there, it says, would you like to set a beginner goal, intermediate goal, or advanced goal? And what do you think my client said? Said the advanced goal, right? Who wouldn't? So that's the results of that month of working together. The yellow line is the goal number, 30-day performance based off of the previous 30 days at the advanced goal that he wanted. And then that blue line is the actual line above that. So if anyone here is interested in tracking their goal in terms of connecting with more people with reaching them or getting more followers on Facebook or Instagram, you can set that up in the goals section of your Facebook business suite, Meta Business Suite as it's called. You can check that out. Has anyone heard about this before? Have you seen this? 1, 2 people, 3 people, 4? Nice. Cool. Okay, good. So people are finding out about this more and more. So this is a great resource that I find when once a month I have a calendar reminder telling me to update the goals. So good way to keep track. A couple other important features to note for connecting with people on a scheduler tool such as Facebook Business Suite is it recommends optimal times. So it says, you're scheduling your post, and it goes, would you like to choose from one of these 3 optimal times? So it takes a lot of that legwork out of seeing exactly what time to post for when your followers are online so you can connect with them. Another one is the stories scheduler. So how cool is that, right? If you want to keep your stories active, you can schedule them on Facebook and Instagram through your Facebook Business Suite. So a cool tool to check out if you guys haven't heard about that before, John.
And I was going to say that's the only system that allows you to schedule stories out. So I own a marketing company. I have lots of different products. We do lots of different things. The social media scheduling tool that we have is by far the most popular thing, and I was so surprised by it. Like, we built it out of necessity for one client, and then it was so good that other people wanted to get it. And we're partners with Facebook and Instagram directly, so we don't have to go through Buffer or anything. And the only thing that does stories directly right now is the Meta Business Suite, the thing that we're talking about here. So if you do a lot of stories, which again helps your engagement, things like that, it is an amazing tool for that. And that's as coming from someone who owns a competing product. Like, there's no better way to do it.
So connecting with people by managing your systems, right? Not just doing it all manually all the time. So Yvonne, next slide, please. And I think this is our final slide as we're going to do Q&A. Any final thoughts, John?
Yeah, just real quick. The big thing, again, we're talking about is just the blanks on that last one is just managing or growing your business requires you to manage systems, right? And as you guys have all grown your business, you've seen like every business we've ever worked with, once you start going from like running every piece of the business to just managing the systems that run it for you, that's when you can start to see real growth, right? And it's true whether you're a lawyer or you are a coach or you run a yoga studio or a pizza place or a nonprofit. Like, growth always happens when you start looking at those systems a little differently, right? So we hope you guys got something from today. More importantly, we want to make sure we answer any questions you guys have about stuff we talked about or anything in that wider scope of everything. So thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate you. Ooh, my favorite nerd question. It depends on the client. Honestly, I built a couple from scratch for clients when they just like have really ridiculous needs. If anyone uses Gmail or the Google Workspace is what it's called now, right? There's an amazing one called Streak that's free that integrates directly into Gmail, and you can change all the fun. It's super intuitive. They have a great support system, and it's a really great place to start for free. And and it gets right into Gmail. So all your follow-up, if you had like 100 customers to follow up with, you could send out a real-time alert with like product-specific information they've ordered and do all of your emails at once. Like one email and it would be done, and it's done from pre-record. It's so great. So Streak for Gmail, if you have Gmail, or they just released a version for Outlook as well, if you have Outlook for your email. So.
And my favorite CRM, it's a marketing CRM, and we've all heard of it. It's called MailChimp. So, and what I like about it is it's an email list, so anytime you want to contact them, you can contact them via email or social media, and then there's a notes field where instead of just one notes field, anytime you make a new note, it just stacks on top of the other, so you can track the customer relationship that way just through the notes and keep it simple.
Absolutely, and I will say, whatever CRM you pick, find one that's exportable to something else, right? So like I have a CRM for when I meet people in person. It's built into my watch. My wallet, I have a card that you tap and it gets my phone number and everything. And that CRM is exportable to my main one as well. So whatever the system you're using, just make sure that you can take the information out of it, because some CRMs are really great and amazing. But when you try to pull anything out of it, they're like, oh, you actually can't take your contacts with you anywhere. So, which was really surprising. I didn't think that would even be a thing in 2022, but came across it a couple months ago.
Good question. Thank you for asking. Does anyone else have any questions? In the back.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can be definitely frustrating. Is there something specific you're trying to do in there? Mm-hmm. Integrates into Salesforce? Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So if you want, on the back of that flyer, there's a QR code there. Just scan it, set up a call, and I can walk you through it. And the cool thing about the card is it's free to set up, and then the card itself you pay for one time, but it integrates into Salesforce pretty seamlessly. So yeah. Shoot me a message. Oh, it's like my digital business card. Yeah.
What's the brand of that?
Link, LINQ. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people using that now ever since you mentioned it.
Yeah, I had a little display thing on the way, but it didn't get here in time, unfortunately. But but it does integrate into Salesforce, and a lot of them do now too. So those integrations, now that everything, can I go super nerd for a minute? Are you guys going to be upset if I go super nerd?
Oh my.
So there's these things called APIs. They're basically a playground for other things to talk to other things. So when you're looking at your systems or whatever you want to get, looking at things that are compatible with other things make it a lot easier. It used to be that you pay a company a ton of money to have something that did everything, or that it talked to all your other major systems, and now a lot of days it's a line of code that you put in. You don't have to generate, you just push a button and then put it into your other system, and then they can talk to each other pretty well for the most part. So, and then there's ways to do it where it's automated through programs like Zapier that I don't want to nerd out too much, but we'll take stuff from one place and put it in another. So
it's 2022,
yeah,
people are ready for this. Yeah. Sharon, do you have a question? Man, TikTok is that's the answer, I think. And it wasn't always TikTok. It used to be called Musical.ly. Does anyone remember when it was Musical.ly? Yep, a couple of people in the back. So yeah, Musical.ly changed the name to TikTok, and now it's, depending on what generation you're trying to connect with, it's the #1 platform. So yeah, and I personally think that LinkedIn is still relevant and still totally the place to be, but it's not for everyone, and it's a little bit easier to post on Instagram or Facebook than LinkedIn. It's like, oh wow, some really serious people are going to be seeing this post on LinkedIn, whereas Facebook is more casual. So yeah, and maybe Snapchat will come back. Who knows? Yeah, good question.
The one thing about TikTok is they do such an aggressive job of the user experience. I think the average, like 1 billion active users on there every day. They spend over an hour a day on there on average. So if you don't think that your people are on TikTok, I would challenge you to download the app and just search in the search bar for whatever key term is in what you do. Like, I had an HVAC guy tell me that his customers not on there, and we pulled up HVAC on there, and his top views of these videos are getting 10 million sets of eyes on the top HVAC. And it's just really simple stuff of behind the scenes. They're loading the truck or doing a gross job or whatever, and they're getting a lot of engagement. And then once you have a certain engagement, you can have them go to your website and track and get super nerdy from there. But if you have never used TikTok, I would challenge you to download it and just search for whatever your business is and look for what people are creating in that space and see if it's something that you want to dive into. Absolutely.
Yep.
That's a great question.
Good.
It really depends on who you're trying to talk to and the price of what you have to sell. There's a lot of factors that go into it that kind of, for me, would determine how to do it, right? And the budget is one of those things, right? If you only have, I mean, everything is solvable with time or money, right? With enough of it, right? So depending on what those factors are and then who you're trying to talk to, I mean, marketing is a very simple, like high-level overview. Like who you're trying to talk to and then where are they at, right? And then the goal is to meet them where they're at and then walk them on that path to you, right? So transactional stuff is a bit harder to do unless it's a very specific kind of industry. So if you want to talk more about it, like again, like set up a one-on-one and let's nerd out over a coffee and like get into specifics. I love having that conversation.
Nice.
I know
nice.
we both do. So.
Yeah. Curtis, do you have a question?
Huge.
A hashtag is still a hashtag no matter the platform. So I don't think you need to natively post the hashtag to the platform for it to really count. So, and the whole thing about hashtags is when people are looking for that hashtags and getting discovered by people looking at it. So that's the key with hashtags now. Instagram actually came out with a report recently saying, look, there's a lot of confusion about hashtags on our platform. Our algorithm doesn't actually pay attention to hashtags. Yeah, they say it doesn't count. So it's really, just keep in mind for hashtags, like it's really like people looking up those hashtags and showing and ranking for those and getting discovered in that way.
If you want a place to start with it, go into Instagram and search for that hashtag and look at if there haven't been any posts on that in 2 weeks, it's probably a hashtag that is no longer being used and they moved to something else. So you want a place to start. And then a lot of these other tools, the one I have, the other ones we talked about here, the reporting includes like, here's the number of hashtags that were seen and when they were seen and why they work better. So once you get into some kind of system for that, a lot of them will track that information for you too.
On the other hand too, I know that a couple platforms still do factor in what the hashtags are, like YouTube tagging does. TikTok, I believe it does. How else are they going to know to lift up your content into the algorithm? Other than tagging. And then LinkedIn, I believe it does consider like what hashtags you're using. So yeah, you should be good on Facebook, keeping those hashtags going. Yeah.
Here first in the front. Yeah, after this, I'll show you on your phone.
Also, Facebook Business Suite has a way to organize all your hashtags and tells you how popular each of them are in the Facebook Business Suite platform.
Got time for one in the back.
What was your first name? Suzanne. I don't believe that I don't believe that TikTok supports that. I could be wrong. They might have a fundraiser link that you can link to in their phone, in their app. But I know that Instagram, pretty recently actually, they came out with fundraiser stickers. So when you're sharing in your stories, you can use fundraisers that way. So it's not built in on the post itself, but you can include it on the stickers. Were you aware of that feature?
Yeah. Absolutely. One quick, easy thing would be in your Instagram bio, if you just put the donate thing there. And then just at the end of those posts on Instagram, just say, to donate, link in bio. And a lot of people will follow that short action because they can do it without leaving the platform, right?
Cool. I think that's just about time. Yvonne, how are we doing on time? Is that it? Cool. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you guys so much again. Thank you for being here. All right.
All right, let's give them another round of applause. Now I'd like to introduce our MC for the next portion of our program, Rhonda Trout.
Good afternoon, everybody. All right, so this is our networking portion. So we've got 2 tables up here who, if you guys want to join the other tables back there, or switch it up. Come on. Unless you're good with just networking with these 3 people you're sitting with. Yes? No? And if you know everybody at your table, maybe you should move too, because this is all about learning about people you don't know. So while you arrange yourselves, we are going to give each person 1 minute of time to talk about themselves. So get out your business cards or any flyers. Find your seat in 5, in 4, 3, 2, 1. Are we happy with where we're at, people? Well, let's start a new table over here. That's okay. It's okay. 2, 4, 7, 2, 4, 7. Some of you are going to get lucky and get some more time than the other tables. All right. So, again, business cards, get those out. If you have any flyers, get those out. Each person is going to get 1 minute of time to give their lovely little elevator speech, and we call it a commercial, too. That's fun. So, every time you hear this, that means go to the next person. All right, are we ready? So, the person closest to the stage, determine who that is at your table. They're going to go first. On your mark, get set. Go. All right. Thanks, everybody, for participating in that lovely little networking event. Who learned something new about somebody at their table today? Yes. Did anybody learn anything new back here? New and exciting? Anything new and exciting? What? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, so if I can have all your attention, because we're moving on to the next portion of this exciting luncheon, is to introduce our showcase table, which is the city of Marysville. If you haven't checked out their table, it's back there in the back, as well as all of the Marysville Tulalip Chamber events that are going on between now and the end of the year. So check those out before you leave. So the next portion of our event is our Roving Mic Time. So for our chamber members, this is your time to make any announcements about events, specials, celebrations of our members that you'd like to publicize. Also, any chamber members who are using the Roving Mic Time and give a kudo or a testimony for another chamber member, you get to add another business card to the prize drawing. So, raise your hand. I'll come to you if you have any announcements, special events, celebrations, kudos. Yes? Don't forget to introduce yourself, too.
Hi, Thomas with Judd and Black Appliance. I just want to say to the speakers, Mike and John, well done on their presentation. And I do want to strongly recommend that you connect with Mike. I know I'm connected with him, and I talk with him on a regular basis. And he has the hookups to like all the networking things happening here in Snohomish County. So I want to plug him for that and thank him for being on top of the whole networking scene around here. So yeah.
Thank you. Additional card? No, only if you do a testimonial or a kudo. Yeah?
Okay, great. Hi, this is great. You're doing such a good job. I love this. Great information. Thanks a lot, Mike. And I'm so excited that you are Meta certified with Facebook. That's pretty huge. I just want to say we're finishing up the Strawberry Festival guide. If anybody wants to get an ad in there, we just have to reserve it today. And then we've got another week to get the creative in. So just let me know. Thank you.
Woohoo! Strawberry Festival. I have love the Strawberry Festival. Anyway, announcements, events, kudos, testimonials. Don't be shy. You want another business card in the bucket? Anyone? That's it? All right, well. Then we're moving on. Are you sure? Nobody else? Oh, Nate.
Now, I'd just like to give a kudos, shout out to the chamber itself. To those of you who haven't met me through the years, I've been involved with the chamber since I was about 9 years old. It has really been exciting in this last year or so since Yvonne's taken the helm, seeing all the renewed energy and the activity. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, we've got a little golf tournament coming up. Used to be the big deal in Marysville up until about the year 2000. The year I would have been old enough to finally volunteer and join in on all the fun. But everybody involved in the chamber, man, this is such a great organization we all get to be a part of. You give me so much pride for my hometown. Dave, Yvonne, Rhonda, thank you all for what you do.
And Ann. All right, I have a kudos. I'm going to put her on the spot. Miss Teresa, who is a brand new member from the Grove Church. She came to our nonprofit coalition this week, and I am amazed by your energy. You remind me a lot of myself. I just kind of jumped in. Where can I volunteer? How can I get involved in the chamber more? More. So I just want to say thank you for joining, convincing the church to join and being a representation, because you're awesome. So, all right. Now is the fun time to win things. Who has a raffle prizes? Come on up if you got raffle prizes. Somebody, I know somebody does. Somebody? Anybody?
Okay, so funny story, guys. I actually put together like 30 prizes, door prizes, so that I had them all prepared. And I got here and I said, oh crap, I forgot my door prizes. So lucky for you, I had a Starbucks gift card in my purse, ready to go. And my favorite thing to do is have one-on-one coffee meetings. It's the best way to meet people and talk to them. So you can do that if you win this Starbucks card. And next time, I will remember my door prizes. Sorry, Rhonda with Coastal Community Bank. Sorry, I think like everybody knows me, so I feel like I don't even have to say that anymore. Okay, Sharon with the Herald. Look at that. You meant for that to happen, didn't you?
All right, Yvonne has some prizes to present too.
Nobody else brought a door prize? Okay, so we've got 2 business before hours, free entry. It is moved up a week if you want to join us in May. Registration closes Thursday or Anne will be mad at you. But these actually expire in June, so no pressure. Suzanne West.
So next time, anytime we come to a chamber event, if you bring a door prize, you get to come up here, you get to give a little 1-minute spiel about who you are and what you do, and then you get to draw a card. And the more things you do, like kudos and testimonials, the more cards you get to put in and the more chances you get to win. So don't forget next time. So we are going to now take this back to Yvonne, and she'll wrap up our lunch.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, it's weird being down here. Let me borrow your agenda. I don't have to go back up. All right. So as Rhonda mentioned, we do have lots and lots of events happening with the chamber. Back there where Dave is standing, you will find all our events. I do like to kill trees, so my apologies for that. But pick up a flyer. Next week, we've got our big event with City of Marysville and Port of Everett. It's our Marysville Business Summit. It'll be right back here at 7:30. You get breakfast and lunch for a whole $15. So I think there's only about 30 spots left. So if you are interested in attending, make sure you register ASAP. Like I mentioned earlier, the Business Before Hours is next Friday. It's a week earlier, and that will be with Teri with Workforce, and he's going to be talking about employee strategies, the myths, and truths behind that. So join us for that. May 24th, we've got our Latino networking event at Realty One Group Orca with Jose in the room. So come join us for that. You don't have to speak Spanish to attend, but there is probably a lot of Spanish spoken, so if you want to learn some new words, come join us for that. And then the next day, May 25th, is our member orientation. You don't have to be a brand new member, even if you've been a member for 10 years. Come join us. You're going to learn lots of new stuff about the website, how to update your profile, how to register for events, how to post job openings, so on and so forth. So join us for that. And then our big event coming up just around the corner, June 11th, is our golf tournament. We are looking for 3 more hole sponsors. If you're interested, let us know right away. And then we've got room for about 15 more teams. So if you want to register for a team, let us know ASAP. Again, those flyers are all out there. Oh, and our save the date cards for our Home for the Holidays auction are out December 1st. Put that on your calendar. It'll be at the Tulalip Resort, and there'll be a big fancy party, so join us for that. Awesome. That's all I have for events so far. And then always check the website for up-to-date information. Just a huge thank you to all of you that attended today. Thank you to the City of Marysville Emergency Management Department for being our sponsor. Thank you to our host and lunch providers, the City of Marysville Park and Rec Department. Thank you to our chamber volunteers and emissaries for all their help today. And a big thank you to all of you who, for your ongoing commitment to this great business community our chamber serves. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for coming. We'll see you soon.